You are watching an Al Bear review. Cue the music.
On the beat.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with the How to Get Away with Murder recap. Happy Friday, man. If you're new, be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Man, let me put it out there. So, my original theory is, last week I believe it was either going to be Frank. I don't know if I said it on here, but I believe, let me say this. I believe Wes is alive. Let me tell you why. I was thinking it over. I was talking about it with my How to Get Away with Murder, you know what I'm saying, counterparts. And this is what I came to the conclusion of. Listen. So, everybody who died on the show, Sam, Rebecca, even Bonnie's boyfriend Miller, everybody's body was identified, was found and identified. The only person body who was not found nor identified was Wes, because it burned up in the Annalise house fire. So now I'm believing he alive, right? At least last week I was. So I believe, on top of that, I believe it was either Bonnie, Nate helped him cover it up because they, work within the justice system there, the police department and the DA office. So I don't know, maybe, they upset at Annalise for whatever reason. Bonnie's life is horrible before, excuse me, before Annalise. Bonnie's life was a mess before Annalise. It was a mess when she moved in with Sam and Annalise. So maybe because of that motivated her to help Wes. And then Nate, maybe he sympathized and empathized with Wes and blamed Annalise for his mother ultimately getting killed. I don't know. But then I watched the episode this week. Oh, and I forgot. I said I believe Frank would be the one to pull the trigger or whatever, because we all know he'll do anything for Laura, and Wes and Laura play him to kill Annalise, and then they'll go happily ever after, right? Okay, cool. But then this week, as I watched this week episode, I thought to myself, what if all of us is wrong? Which is possible watching this show. What if Annalise, kills herself, takes her own life? And what led me to believe in this is two scenes, then I get into the review. The scene where Annalise came home, I got it in my notes. I forget what she was upset about. Maybe it was after court when Gabriel's mom, Vivian, came up to her and asked, some craziness. She came home and picked up that murder weapon. And she started doing her therapy exercise where she beat something and beat the anger and the aggression out of her. It made me realize this, especially with the way the show went off. The FBI was investigating Connor, basically trying to accuse him. So basically what that lets me know is everybody in that house, the whole K5 and whoever else comes into Annalise's house, fingerprint is gonna be on the murder weapon. So we can't just willy-nilly say it's gonna be one of those, right? So we know how she's killed. She's killed with the little thing you use for the fireplace to move the wood to get the fire, back heat up. I don't know what it's called. So I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, I say, it changed week to week. So today, I do feel like Wes is still alive, and maybe Wes is going to present himself in front of her, and then she going to feel so bad that when she commits suicide. I don't know, my theory is all over the place. But let me hop into the review. I don't waste enough time on what I think. So let's talk about Michaela's case first, because I want to get it out of the way. Because I'm not even interested in the whole them kids being in the courtroom this season, because at this point, the only thing I want to find out is who murdered Annalise. But anyway, she takes on this case. This lady named Brandy, she's charged with a number of charges because her and her boyfriend, they wanted to open up a food truck, so they ended up robbing, I don't know what it was. They robbed a check cashing place, a store or something, I don't know. And long story short, the police officer ended up shooting her boyfriend in the brain, and he pretty much bled out in her lap. So she charged with all of this and all of this. So anyways, the show came on. Michaela, she feels herself. She's conducting class. She's the instructor, and she basically telling the class, like, whichever one of you guys can help me eliminate the most of these charges will be my second chair, right? So she pretty much let everybody eliminate all the charges and said, well, I don't need none of y'all because y'all forgot about restitution, and we got to get rid of restitution because they charging her $103,000 for restitution. So she goes to court. The DA offers a plea deal with 3 years and, pay the restitution. And she pushes and pushes to have the restitution zero. Like, basically, restitution is paying for costs that are associated with the case. Such in this case, they wanted Miss Brandy to pay for the therapy of the officer who shot her boyfriend in the car and he bled out in her head, which is ridiculous. And a whole bunch of other crazy stuff that has nothing to do with her. So, long story short, she kept pushing and pushing. The DA decided to introduce a new charge, which is felony murder, which is basically saying because you guys committed a felony and this young man was murdered, you are responsible for his murder and not the officer. So, long story short, because I don't even want to talk about this no more, she gets in a frenzy. She don't know what to do. She wants Annalise to come stay today. Tegan finds out about it. Tegan tell Annalise she need to get on it because this ain't going down under her watch. You know what I'm saying? She's a minority and she's a woman running this big law firm. Annalise need to get on it. Excuse me. So, in the end, Annalise gives Michaela a little snippet of advice and said the answer to your problem here is Sam's death. And so she was like, she didn't really get it at first, nor did I. And so basically, Annalise explained the DA is afraid that Brandy will sue for wrongful death. You get what I'm saying? So that was pretty much the spin. They put the officer up there on the stand and asked the officer why haven't the police department accident or incident report came out or whatever. And long story short, they got all that dropped. All right, so moving on. This episode, Bonnie, she goes to Tegan to ask Tegan for a job, and I didn't think about it at the time, but Nate pushed her up to do it so she could be his eyes and ears on the inside, right? And of course, at first, Tegan said no. So when it ended up happening in this episode, y'all know Connor is dealing with this whole case with this little boy Hector or whatever the little boy name. I can't think of his name. And so Connor, so stupidly, he took the boy, the boy mom called and said that she's not going to be able to come and testify because her boss told her that if she comes and he's not giving her a day off, so she's going to be fired. So instead of Connor just going and doing as he should, go and get the sworn testimony or whatever it's called, signed by the boy mama, he didn't. He took the boy to go see the mama. Long story short, Ice ended up getting tipped off. They find out. So now the boy and the mama is in custody of Ice. So he calls Oliver. Oliver calls Bonnie. Bonnie goes to help. And then Tegan finds out. Tegan shows up. Bonnie basically gets them a meeting in the back with the head of the police, whoever down there. I don't know. But and try to use her. I'm a assistant DA, Bonnie Winterbarter or whatever last name, and he asked to see her identification card, and of course she didn't have it. So Tegan picked up the phone, called her wife, told her that to tell this guy to let these two go, and that's how we find out Tegan got a wife. But because of Bonnie craziness and ballsiness to lie just to get a meeting with the top dog, Tegan said, I'm gonna give you a trial, 3-month trial, and we'll see how it goes. So now Nate has his way in. Now, speaking of Nate this episode, Nate went to the FBI and told the FBI, and basically asked the FBI, you know what I'm saying, have they found any leads with his dad's murder? Is the governor still, the governor? What if the governor kills Annalise? No, she can't afford it. No. But anyway, he asked with the governor still being investigated. It was like they can't comment on any of it. They can't let him know. So basically, he gives them Tegan, said that, that Tegan worked for Laurel's father, Jorge Costil, or whatever his name, and basically want them to look into Tegan. Now, as I'm explaining this, it's really making me feel like Nate is the killer, because it seems as though he putting Tegan in FBI's vision, on FBI's watch list, so he can, have Tegan take the fall for something that he's gonna do. So maybe Tegan's gonna get blamed the frame for Annalise's murder, and Nate is actually the one that's gonna kill Annalise. Like, I don't know. It's just really, the show has got my brain seeing different colors. It's all over the place. Like, I really want to figure this out so badly. But anyways, so yeah, he does that. So in the end of the episode, the FBI comes to Nate and basically said, we have a new lead. And he should, and hopefully he knows that they're lying. Hopefully. But they don't tell him the lead, and I don't think they're going to tell him next week either. They basically said, we have a new lead, but we need some help from you, and basically we need you to flip on Annalise and help us take her down. And so, now that I'm even thinking about this even more, now Nate has to be the killer. Like, I know this probably gonna change next week, but what better way to, he know Wes is alive, because I believe he one of the first responders to go to Annalise's house, right? He wants to find out who murdered his father. He wants to get revenge for that, so he's gonna set Tegan up for that, as well as set Tegan up for taking Annalise down, because what if he find out Annalise had something to do with his father's murder? I don't know. I'm just thinking too much right now. That don't even make sense, but, I don't know. But anyway, that's pretty much Nate and Tegan this episode. Also this episode, we're going to talk about Vivian, Gabriel's mom. Long story short, she goes to, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, the episode was good, but it irritated me because Vivian is irritating me. I'm sorry. Like, I just cannot. Her going back and forth with Annalise, telling Annalise that she's the reason her son is the way he is, and telling Annalise she want her son to come home, and all of this. It's just too much. And Gabriel convinces Annalise to let them put Brandy on the stand so that the judge can see her sympathy that she's feeling and what she's going through. And Vivian watched him for the first time, and he comes out and said, that's why I need to be here. That's why I need to stay here with Professor Keaton. She gives me that edge. And so does Michaela. Michaela had a scene where she was questioning the officer who killed Brandy's boyfriend, and she was so passionate, and Vivian comes out and basically said that in there looked like a woman who's been through this before, know how to cover up a murder. And so that drove Annalise to go home and do their possession. But anyways, Gabriel and Vivian it's getting on my nerve. He confessed to her this episode after she tried to convince him Annalise is not a good person. And he confessed that he did kill her boyfriend. And so long story short, it seems as though she was going to go to the FBI and flip. I thought she was going to turn Gabriel in herself, as well as try to negotiate some type of plea deal for him so that they can continue to go after Annalise. But pretty much she walking away from the FBI and told them that they try to pursue her drug trafficking charges, she'll let Annalise defend her and all that. So, that was that. So, but back to my theory. Let me see if I covered everything I want to talk about. Vivian. Oh, and then the show pretty much went off with Vivian giving Gabriel all of Sam's and Annalise therapy sessions that was recorded to basically try to convince him that she's not a good person. He heard one tape and called Michaela over and basically told Michaela that the guy in prison is not your father. It's the lawyer that Annalise was working with. So, yada, 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 yada. I want to get back to my theory. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Listen. Nate has to be, because when you're watching this show, it's always the person that you least expect, and that's closest, to the person. You feel what I'm saying? So, except for with Bonnie, I lied. Bonnie did really kill Miller. Nate beat him up, but he still was alive, and so Bonnie, which was his woman, came over and finished him off. The same with Sam. Wes killed Sam, but it was some history there. So it was kind of, and then Sam killed Rebecca because, they was messing around, etc., etc. So it's Nate. Nate is the killer. He has to be. And he has to be. But Wes is alive. Like I said, everybody else who died on this show, body was identified except one person and one person only, Wes Gibbons. Also, this episode, I forgot to mention, Frank tracked down Laura whereabouts. He pretty much goes to, and it was a trap. He found some security footage of the driver who drove Laura to the place, the key lock place, the key box place or whatever, tracked him down, and basically he came through and said, they threatened me not to tell you. Frank shows up to the place to hide out or whatever. Obviously, Laura and the baby was there, but Laura's brother and his goons come out to greet Frank. But I ain't even worried about that. We need to figure out who killed Annalise. I ain't worried about no court case. I ain't worried about anything other than who killed Annalise. But that's all I have. If y'all have anything, let me know down in the comment section below. My energy a little off today. I'm a little tired, but it's all good. It's Friday, so y'all have a happy Friday. I'm out of here. Peace.